Hello folks, welcome to a new playthrough video. Today I'm going to be introducing a game to you called Zilight, and we're going to have a little go at playing through it. Zilight is a solo zombie survival game from a company called the Grinning Frog, designed by a guy called Stephen Hart. I'm the Lone Adventurer. Thank you very much for stumbling your way upon my channel. If you enjoyed this video, consider hitting the like button, subscribing, all that sort of stuff. So I actually approached Stephen about him sending me a copy of the game to play on the channel, and he very kindly acquiesced, took a chance and sent me this along with a couple of other bits and pieces. I asked him for a couple of reasons. One, because I haven't played much in the way of zombie games, and I am a pretty big fan of zombies and zombie fiction, films, video games, things like that, but I've never really played much in the way of zombie solo games. And I thought this one looked like it could potentially be quite cool. And also the Grinning Frog, the company who produces this game, is a UK-based independent company, and I'm all about supporting UK-based independent game designers. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do and you think Zilight looks cool, I will be popping a link in the description down below to the Grinning Frog's website, and I'm also going to put a link to Starship Scavengers on Kickstarter. It's another game by Stephen Hart. Unfortunately, that Kickstarter has finished. It's worth having a look at anyway. Yeah, it's just worth checking it out and familiarising yourself with it, and maybe keeping an eye on Stephen on Kickstarter, because no doubt he'll be doing more in the future. So this is the sort of game where you are drawing cards, and those cards represent things that will happen. I've played a couple of times. First time I was brutally killed quite quickly, which, when you think about it, kind of makes sense. The zombie apocalypse would probably be a fairly brutal sort of context to be making your way in, so I don't resent the fact that the game smacked me down so hard. And then the second game, I was doing all right. You have to try and make it through 4 weeks. I got into my second week, and then I thought, actually, it's probably time to film a video. So I stopped playing, and here we are. Alright, so in this first video, as I tend to do, I will give you a little bit of an overview of the game system. I won't really tell you much of the details. Those will just come out as we are doing the playthrough. And I might read you a little bit of the incidental text on the book to give you an idea of the tone, as it were. So let's have a look at the back, shall we? You are a survivor of a global zombie apocalypse, which kind of sucks. Not the surviving bit, that's good, but the end of the world part. You've lost a lot of people, and the life you had is gone forever. And, if you are honest with yourself, you are not the person you were before. But the good thing is you don't have any time for psychoanalysis or self-pity, as frankly, you are too busy trying to stay alive. Maybe in the future, when humanity has had a chance to rebuild itself, you can get some therapy and discuss the choices you made and the things you've done. But right now the sun is coming up over an undead world, and you better get your gear and get looking for some food. After all, you ate the last of the dog food yesterday. So we've got some author notes here. I'm going to read out some of them, most of them, because it's quite reflective of the fact that Stephen's relationship with zombie fiction is fairly similar to my own. If, when thinking about zombies, the names Rick, Carl, Carol, Daryl and Shane mean something to you, then we are on the same page. In my house, those characters have been talked about, discussed and argued over for years. At its deepest, the concept of a zombie apocalypse can make us evaluate what's important and what is not. It can shine a light on morality and raise uncomfortable questions. and at its most shallow, the concept can simply be a lot of fun, with people fighting, trusting, betraying, and of course stabbing zombies and each other. Oh, and let's not forget the running away in blind panic. I've tried to create some aspects of all of the above in this game, but with a primary focus on it being fast and fun to play. I toyed with having a moral gauge which was influenced by your actions, e.g. the more survivors you abandon, the lower your morality score would go. In the end, I left that out, so just like in a real apocalypse, only you will know who you've left behind and who you've saved. That all sounds fantastic to me, and I opened this up and I read that and I thought, okay, this is going to be interesting. Because that's what I like about zombie fiction, and more broadly about post-apocalyptic fiction, or a lot of post-apocalyptic fiction, is that combination of creating concepts in which you can answer and consider interesting moral quandaries, and you can also have crazy action and people acting in nuts ways and doing things they wouldn't ordinarily do. So I can confirm that this game does play very quickly and it's very straightforward. It's helped out by the fact that Stephen can clearly write coherently and has a good grasp of the mechanics that he's describing. Let's start just by putting our character together. So obviously we need a name. I think we're going to go for, do you know what, I'm going to stick with the same name I was playing with previously. I'm going to have a survivor called Jane. You start with 20 health points, and you've got a health gauge here, so you don't have to write the health down, it's simply tracked using this health gauge. And the health gauge also tracks another in-game number, which is your exhaustion level. So your exhaustion level starts at 5, and then the lower your health gets, the lower your exhaustion level gets, and that means you're more likely to do silly things in situations where being knackered would be counterproductive or not helpful. And we also start with a weapon. We start with a knife, which is a +1 attack weapon. So we're going to write that in this melee section here. And you start with, well, I'm not sure if it goes up. I'm not really sure. You start with a natural attack dice. So this game works on a combat mechanic where you're rolling multiple dice. So everyone has one dice to represent the fact that you can kick and punch and stuff like that. If you've got your knife, then you get 2 dice. So 1 + 1 gives you 2. So when we do attack rolls, we're rolling 2 dice. Each successful hit does 1 wound of damage. So if we roll high enough, you get 1 wound for each dice. I feel like I just said that, and then I just said it in a slightly different way. You also get 3 food rations to start. Every day that you survive through to the end of the day, you have to eat. Reduce food rations by 1, and if you don't, you take a point of damage. And that is pretty much it in terms of starting. You grab a regular deck of cards, you shuffle your deck of cards, and then you're good to go. We've got this nice little sort of card sheet that comes with the game. That's quite handy to have, I found. And it's got a few bits of game information scattered around where you place the cards. So let's have a quick look through the book, and I will just give you an overview of what we've got in here. It's quite a streamlined game. It's not the sort of game that's going to give you masses and masses of random encounters and different tables and things like that. What we've essentially got here is a number of different events or locations based on the number of cards in a deck. If you draw a club or a spade, I always get them mixed up. No, this is a club because the other ones look like spades. So if you draw a club, you get some equipment. If you draw a diamond, you visit a location, and you can make decisions about whether you go into the location or whether you pop your head round the door or whether you explore more deeply and then you have to draw subsequent cards to indicate other things that you might find there. Clubs? No. Spades. Spades are mostly combat encounters. There's also a deer that you can hunt, but they're combat encounters. I've found those to come up quite a bit. Maybe that's just my luck, but I've had a lot of combat counters already and I haven't played that much. And then hearts, I don't think I've drawn a single heart yet, is people, other survivors that you might encounter. And I think some of them are people that might join you and give you extra abilities, or maybe that is just Lulu, because we all know that in order to have good post-apocalyptic fiction, you have to have the opportunity to have a little doggy sidekick. So Lulu's your dog, so we'll be hoping to find Lulu. And that's what the 4 different types of cards are. And there's not a whole lot more in this book, so it doesn't take very long to learn. We've got a couple of pages on how to play the game, a couple of pages on combat, some rules for weapons that are loud and how that can affect the game, how to handle locations if you come across a location, a couple of pages for how to manage people that you come across. Then we've got a keywords and phrases page, and then at the back just some frequently asked questions and some optional rules. So it doesn't take a lot of time, it doesn't take a lot of effort to get into this game. Alright, so that is a super quick overview of Zilight. I am going to have a little break here and then we'll come back in a second video and we will do a playthrough. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. Let me know in the comments below if you like the look of this game, or if you know of any other zombie games that you think I should try. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one, bye for now.